Hey YouTube. Last night I was at a dinner that is held um, at my friend's home weekly. It's an apartment building, and there's a group of young people that come every week or every other week, and they prepare a meal and sit and talk with the residents that come up for the meal. It's a very nice gesture and a very nice, thing that these young people do. They're young college students, and it's an opportunity for an intergenerational dialogue, with the older and the younger generations coming together and talking about life experiences, talking about school, education, and things that come up. Um, and the younger people are the ones that prepare the meal. Well, the food that they're using to prepare the meal is food that's been donated to them, or sometimes maybe food that was left over from dorm life or the cafeteria or whatever. And so they kind of basically have to take what they get and work with it and make it something that's gonna work for the people that are there. Well, their food variety changes from week to week, but it's always the leftover items. So, it's like, what do you do with the leftovers? I admire their ingenuity and what they do to try to make the leftovers work for the people that come up for those meals. Sometimes it can be a variety of things that really don't seem to go together, and they use some creativity to try to make things work. Perhaps there's some leftover shrimp from one thing, and there might be some leftover rice from something else, and they try to take foods that look like they may go together. It's kind of like working a puzzle, and they put these flavors together and try to make it work to revive the food. Um, Tonight, the meal was a bit different. There was a variety of things as usual. The dessert was really pretty good. I believe it was one of those packaged spice cakes where you just slice the pieces and it's coated with the powdered sugar. That was a big hit. Went over very well. Very good. As far as the other food, there was pork loin. There was like a ground beef that had some scalloped, kind of like scalloped potatoes, but not really mashed potatoes. And it was a unique potato mixture. It tasted really good. I'm not sure what it was, but it tasted like they were supposed to be scalloped potatoes, but that they had been beaten until they were like mashed potatoes, and it was made like a shepherd's pie, kind of. With a few peas and other things in there. That was decent, had decent flavor, and it was a mild enough flavor that for people that aren't able to handle the spice, because a lot of people in Minnesota prefer for things to not be so spicy. There's a lot of people like a more bland flavor here. um, it was good. It was good, something that everybody could enjoy, and it was a large pan of it. And there were some mixed vegetables, mostly like red and yellow bell pepper, some onion, which had been sauteed, and that was nice. It just wasn't enough for all the people that showed up, because quite a few people showed up. The room was pretty full. And there was pancakes. Now, the ground beef and potato mixture, like I said, it was made kind of like a shepherd's pie, but a real shepherd's pie has lamb in it, so But that's just a technicality. I know a lot of people try to do shepherd's pie with the ground beef, but that was good. And it seemed to go over as a big hit with everyone, including myself. The sauteed vegetables, that was pretty good. They could have been cooked a little bit less so that they weren't so wimpy or limpy, but I can't complain. It wasn't too bad. That was pretty good. The pork loin was dry, and if it was something that had been prepared earlier, when you're taking a meat like that had already been prepared earlier, you really kind of need to, if you're going to put it in the oven, to heat it up and say, okay, we're going to take this too, and we're going to serve this food too. You have to add a little water in the bottom of the pan, give it some moisture so that it doesn't dry out more, so it doesn't become like leather or anything. Adding a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan. It's going to soak up. It's not going to make it taste terrible. If they could do a little sprinkle dingle of some seasonings, whether it be like garlic flavor, but I know not everybody likes garlic, or lemon pepper, or you know, salt-free seasoning, kind of like the Mrs. Dash. I mean, you can get the generic brand or whatever. But the main thing is a little water in the bottom of the pan so that it has some moisture and doesn't dry out. If they want to be extra creative, they could make a little gravy on the side. Take a piece of that meat, one of those pieces of that pork loin, put it into a separate pot, boil it down to get as much flavor out of that as possible. Add some peppers, some salt, and a little bit of onion, and add a little flour and keep stirring until it gets to a light brown consistency, and that could be a gravy to put on the meat so that the meat is not so dry. And it's not necessarily that you have to dump it over all the meat, but keep it to the side. And if someone says, do you have gravy with that? Yes, we have gravy. Or to even offer, would you like some gravy with that? Then for those that want the gravy, they can have the gravy. And it dresses that meat up a little bit. For those that don't want it, don't have to have it. Now, for the pancakes, I had 2 pancakes. One was really moist and was in really good shape, but the other one was dry and kind of hard, probably because it was from breakfast, one of those extra things that was left over that, oh yeah, we could use this too because it's from our bread group. But it's more difficult if you're using something like that, especially if you're going to take pancakes or something that you've already used, and if once they were used, the extras weren't put like packaged and put in the freezer, they get dry. They just do. It gets kind of like cardboard. So I had one that was moist and the other one that was kind of dry. So I ate the moist one, but there was no butter. There was no syrup provided with the meal, or like strawberry preserves, which is always a good backup because you can get a cheap bottle of strawberry preserves for $1 somewhere, and it works to add some flavor to that and to soften things up. So one of the people sitting at my table went to their apartment and brought back some rhubarb preserves, which the rhubarb preserves, and another person went and got some syrup, so we had syrup on the pancakes, and the rhubarb preserves I used with the pork loin because it needed something to soften it up, give it a little more flavor, So if you have a meat that you have to use over, it's always good to add some water in the pan, especially if you're going to be baking it again in the oven. have like some kind of cranberry sauce or like that rhubarb jam, rhubarb preserves, it helped a lot. And to do as much as possible to make things kind of match up so that it's more of a complete meal. But I get what the young people are doing, and I know that they're putting together what they have because they can only work with what donations they get and put together. So it was really creative the way that they did put things together. You know, the shepherd's pie was really good. Just need a little more work with the pork loin or things like that, you know, to make sure that it's moist. Oh, and there was fish. There was fish in this meal setting. And the fish was kind of moist, but it tasted like it had teriyaki sauce in it, which was a little unusual given the taste of the other things that were there in the meal. But, you know, when you're trying to make sure that there is enough for everyone, I'm sure that they had to use what they had and come up with some creative ideas for how to put things together. So the teriyaki sauce on the fish was moist. The flavor was different, but for me, it was that there was the fish, the pork, the beef, and the pancakes. There was such a variety, and if there was some way to put things together in a different way, I don't know. I have to think about that. Like maybe they could have taken the pork loin and added a little, I know I keep saying add a little moisture to it, and let it bake and soak up that moisture, and then take it and put it through a blender and make like a pork loin salad or something, you know, add some relish or mayo or something to that, so that can be, so there's like a hot food option for people or a cold food option for people, or if people want both, then sure they can have both. But I don't know, just being extra creative, come up with some different ideas. And like I say, I commend these young people because every week they're doing this. They're doing it for free. They're not getting paid to do it. Not at this location. It's like a service learning opportunity where they get to meet their elders and learn from their elders and share their life experiences. And I think it's awesome that they do it, and they have a great attitude every week when they do that. So thumbs up for the people from Augsburg College, and we've had St. Kate's College show up for this, and you know, different groups like pre-med students. We have people from the biology department. They've had people from the softball team, the baseball team, hockey team, basketball team, a variety. And I just think that it's really, really awesome that they do what they do. So some of my upcoming videos, I'm going to take more time to discuss how to take these leftovers you have and put them into something that will satisfy everyone. For the people that don't like spices, or the people that like things more spicy, how to make something that's going to be pleasing to everyone and appealing to the eye at the same time. So, it's late. It's very late. So, I think I'm going to let that be it for now. And I will talk to you again soon.